Hey, welcome everybody to Sasha and Goff live recorded. I'm Sasha.
I'm Goff.
We are back this week with our top 3 and bottom 3 rednecks. Yes, this was pretty easy. Pretty easy one for me. I know a lot of rednecks, and I have them ranked already. You?
So was yours? Did you do characters and?
I'm totally lying. This was so tough for me.
All right. So I finished my list this morning.
Okay.
But I had the first probably because I did my top and bottom at the same time. I had the top 2 for both of them probably the day we pulled it, and then ever since then it finally got to where I was just like, what is considered a redneck? You know, that's the hardest thing, and you don't want to insult anyone by saying you're a redneck, and it's like, I don't think I'm a redneck.
I guess I was gonna save that for like when we started the top 3, but may as well talk about it now.
Yeah.
Redneck versus hillbilly.
Mm-hmm.
I had to Google this.
Mm-hmm.
Hillbillies are like people who just like live in the hills and have no clue what's going on, and rednecks are just like hard workers who have like strong brash opinions or something. It's something like
redneck,
that.
I think, is a more derogatory term for hillbilly.
Yeah,
almost, but actually, hillbilly, I think you're not. There's nothing negative about it. You're just that type of person. It's like, you're kind of like shut off, and you just keep to yourself and live in the hills.
And so what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna not differentiate, and I'm gonna go redneck, hillbilly. I live in the Chicago suburbs. It's all the same to me.
That's fine.
And if you live south of I-88 in Illinois, you might be a redneck. I don't know. I can't. It was like difficult. I was gathering names. Like I was doing a lot of gathering and ranking and trying to figure it out. And I was like, all right, we'll see where this goes. Mm-hmm. I don't know how deep my knowledge of rednecks goes.
Okay. I mean, mine's like I said, I've got some characters and some actual like people, humans, real people.
Cool. Looking forward to getting to that.
Yeah.
Before we do that, we got a bunch of stuff to go over here. First and foremost, your head is shaved.
Yeah. Look.
So
we made it. We held up our end of the deal.
Legitimately got your head shaved. How did it go? How was the entire?
It was great. First of all, thank you to I don't know. I'm not going to name off names specifically, but everyone who listens to the show that helped. Thank you so much. Raised $561.
Ow!
Woo!
Goal is 500.
Yep. So and it's about $100 more than I made last year. So next year you guys are going to have to. I don't know. We're going to have to go to like 750 or 1,000.
All I'm saying, maybe. I wrote this in the description of the last podcast. I think you start layering.
Yeah.
And you go, next year my goal, 750. If we get to 850, I'll use a 1. You know what I mean? Shave it real deep. If you get to $1,000, straight up Goff Nazi.
Jeez.
Straight up Goff Nazi.
Like 2,000, I get scalped.
No, we don't have to go that deep. But you should get a tattoo of some sort for 2,000.
Bam Bam Bigelow tattoo
on your head.
That's cool. $2,000.
$2,000
next year. Bam Bam Bigelow tattoo.
Where? Point to where we're gonna put it.
I can't. Did he have flames on both sides, or was it down the middle?
Oh, you mean his tattoo? I thought you meant a tattoo of him.
No, I mean like head. The same one he had.
No, that would be solid. Yeah, his was the entire head. It was beautiful. It was a beautiful work of art.
So that.
Rest in peace to Bam Bam, one of the greatest of all time. Yeah. I think you should kind of do a tiered system and see where we get it.
Yeah.
Or maybe if you don't break 500, you don't even have to shave your head. But you get to keep the money.
What, folks?
St. Baldrick's doesn't get the money. You get the money if we don't raise it.
I got to figure out a way to funnel it back into my account.
I had like a little situation where I finally remembered to donate money to you.
Yes, thank you, by the way.
And no problem. And I wanted to. If you weren't at 500, I wanted to like fulfill that goal, and I was like way too far away at the time. I was like, I can't do that.
I don't know. I mean, just everyone was very generous. It was incredible.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like everyone was really trying to get me there, and it was awesome.
Awesome. Thank you guys.
So thanks again, everyone.
Truly appreciated. 2 weeks ago, we talked about our top serial and killers.
Yeah.
We got a was it Shug who? No, Ivica. Our friend Ivica is the one who
that was his
gave
idea,
us the idea for it. Shug sent in his top 3 serial killers. This was Shug you sent me, right?
Yes.
I printed it on like the same font that my dad uses on his cell phone, where it's just like as large as you can possibly
That's literally
get
like
it.
Yeah.
So he got number 3. He put A and B, so 3A and 3B.
Yeah, you got it. So he had potent notables.
So basically a top 4.
Yeah.
John Wayne Gacy and Jeffrey Dahmer. One being from Chicago and dressing like a clown, and the other in Milwaukee eating MFers, which I assume is some sort
That's
of
what the newspaper article
fudge.
said.
Yeah. Number 2, scariest looking, he said Richard Ramirez, the Night Stalker.
Night Stalker, yeah.
The video of him in court is terrifying. I'm not familiar with a Richard Ramirez.
I believe I've seen the video, but yeah, he's...
Scary?
It's a creepy video.
Okay,
yeah,
you
just
stopped
a
the
guy
sentence.
with no remorse and...
All right.
Yeah,
You're just sad over there. You lost your hair.
Creeped out.
And now it's over. Oh, okay. And then number 1, the GOAT, Jack the Ripper.
The GOAT.
Was never caught and a creepy Englishman. So...
Fucking baller.
Exactly.
Never caught.
We celebrate you, Jack the Ripper.
Woo!
Number 1 in our hearts, especially Shugs. So thank you for that, Shug.
Thanks.
And then we have last week. Now, last week's episode was favorite, what was it? TV best friends.
Best friends, yeah.
No one cared about
Yeah,
that. Not one person.
I don't even think I did when I went back and listened.
Megan told me we didn't even do a bottom TV best friends.
Oh, yeah. I think we were all shook up from our...
No clue.
Real quick before you talk the emails... by the way, Ed O'Neill won our tournament last week. And when I told Joni that, she did like a, really? Well, he was Al Bundy. Like, and so she understood, but it's like, the way I'm breaking it down to her, it's like Larry David versus Jerry Seinfeld in the first round. Will Arnett versus Amy Poehler. It's the
second round. It's very like early on. Yeah. You have to deal with certain ones.
It's just the way and luck of the draw. Based
100%.
on how you.
So what we did last week, we did our top, our March Madness of funny people, just completely random funny people. Put it in that box. I could still see the box hasn't moved. And it's just got a bunch of names in it, and I drew names, and we made a bracket, and then we went down the bracket, and we picked our funniest, who we thought was funnier. Megan broke the ties. So basically, it was a 3-person event. And the backlash that we received from this was insane.
Yeah.
It makes me realize we could never really say something bad to get true backlash. Because this was kind of like fake, not fake, but like...
Yeah.
Backlash on a topic that's not important.
When we talk about serial killers, people just add to the list. It's like, oh, you forgot about the Night Stalker.
Yeah, this was like we offended people's moms. Yeah. This was very rough. I got some excellent YouTube comments, some direct messages from people I don't know were sending angry messages.
Yeah.
Shug, lots of bad takes on this bracket. Might have to take my money and my picture back. # do better.
Shit.
I responded. I said we already spent his money to get more of his 8x10s.
We did. They're on the way.
Sorry about that, Shug. Hattori Hanzo, our dear friend, chimed in. He said David Cross over John Candy, downvote, unsubscribe, negative Yelp review.
Oh man.
Then a couple days later, it was also funny to see. You can see like when people were listening to the episode because the anger came immediately.
Okay.
So I got a text from our dear friend producer Tony. He said, "Did you idiots really eliminate Eddie Murphy in the first round? I have never yelled at my car stereo louder than today when I heard that."
Producer Tony made it to the show again.
Yeah,
he's always over your shoulder there, but yeah, now we got the mini one.
We got the mini, 3D printed mini producer Tony. Yeah, so that was a lot of anger at once, and it was kind of funny, and I'm glad that we did something that people would react to.
Yeah.
I don't take any of it back.
There were a few going back. Not that I'm like, yeah, I probably should have, but I could have gone the other way on that.
I do know that if we did them in a different way, it's potential that we could have had somebody besides Ed O'Neill.
I totally think it would have been different. Nothing against him. And then just one thing neither of us pointed out is that I was wearing a Nick Offerman shirt during that episode.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and like even when you said his name,
and he lost in the first round.
Yeah, him and his wife.
Yeah, amazing.
To Will Arnett.
So when I thought the anger was subsiding, we got this email.
You started taking the planks off the windows and everything.
We got this scroll of an email from our dear friend Giuseppe in Milan.
It's probably very well worded too.
Very well worded. Yes.
There we go.
He said, "Hello, gentlemen." That's how it starts.
That's a good
off.
start.
So he's wrong.
It's encouraging.
Immediately. He said, "Wanted to confirm to you that I indeed listened to the entire episode this week, and I have so many thoughts.
Yes.
First of all, I agree with anyone and everyone who commented on the bad bracket takes via your YouTube channel.
Nice.
But the most egregious error is the way this was executed. However, knowing that this was a Sasha concept, I'm not surprised. Shots fired. He says, as much as I love Sasha, he isn't really what we would consider a planner. Thank you, Giuseppe. I'll remember that next time we are planning an event when you come back from Italy. I'll let you handle it. I'm not planning anymore.
Damn.
Just kidding. I'll take care of it.
Ooh.
It wasn't that harsh. No. I'm Mr. Planner.
Yeah.
Right? That's why that was such a great bracket. It was
That's
beautiful.
what it says on the back of your work van, Mr. Planner.
Mr. Planner. Which is weird because that's not a company. That's not my van.
You're not a wedding planner.
I will keep this as short as possible because it's not my podcast. But the bracket was something that had great potential. By the way, Giuseppe also sent me a message after this, and he was like, I was a little harsh. I just want you to know we're cool. And I was like, okay, thank God.
Oh, man.
He
This
said,
is going to go in a really bad direction.
I'll keep this as short as possible, but the bracket was something that had great potential. I was fine with the constant breaks to have Megan be the tiebreaker. I was okay with the fact that there wasn't any sort of established criteria. And I even tolerated the fact that you didn't take the time to properly seed the names. Where I draw the line is that you didn't do the one thing that would have made this so much better. Effort.
Turn your mics on.
Yeah. And that's actually using the bracket concept of regions to categorize the names.
Okay.
Now, hear him out. It's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
But he also knows this was thrown together last minute by me. But he says, for example, the East region in the NCAA bracket could have been dedicated to individuals who were most notably stand-ups. Right? Because like stand-ups come from the East Coast generally, like New York stand-ups known as the better stand-ups. So that could have been the East. The West region could have been known for films. Hollywood, West people, comedy people, generally films. Midwest for TV shows, because we watch the most TV, I would assume.
Yeah.
And the South for those who are like all-arounders. So just an example of potential categories. You could have also done it by decade, like 90s, 2000s, blah, blah, blah. You know what a decade is, correct? Okay.
I think.
The goal is then to have a Final Four consisting of one person for each category, battling it all out for supremacy. I hope you take this as a learning experience. And when it is time for episode 92 of Sasha and Goff, live recorded next March, you can implement some of these suggestions. As always, with love from Milan, Giuseppe. Now, I will say this. When we were doing this thing, part of my mindset... All right, let me take you to the beginning.
Okay.
It's March. I go, March Madness, we should do a bracket.
Yeah.
It's the easiest idea of all. What kind of bracket? Where does my head go? Titties. I said, we're going to do women. We're going to go women on this one, and we're going to do hottest women, and just a bracket of 64, and then me and you are just like, yeah, but she was hot in this.
Yeah.
So then I was like, all right, this isn't the greatest idea.
Zero criteria for that one.
So then I was like, oh, well, we should do 1 week of women, and then to be equal, the next week we'll do the guys.
Absolutely.
We'll do hunks. Why not? This is all about equality is this show. So then I was thinking about that. Then I kind of started going through the list of them, and I was like, a lot of these are pretty one-sided victories. So what if we do a bracket half women, half men?
Okay.
And then, like, they could go against each other and whatever. So that's what I started originally trying to do.
So male titties versus female titties.
Male titties, female titties.
All right. Like it.
So then I'm thinking and I'm going through, and the only name that keeps going through my mind is Rob Lowe. I just can't stop thinking about Rob Lowe. I'm just like, 80s, Rob Lowe. 90s, Rob Lowe. 2000s, Rob Lowe.
Do a future one.
Yeah.
2030s,
2050,
Rob Lowe.
probably Rob Lowe.
Yeah.
That head of hair, that's not going away anytime soon. So I go through and I start doing this thing, and I realize it's not going very well. Then I start thinking, oh, maybe I could do 80s people, 90s people, aughts people. Megan had no clue what aughts meant. It was hilarious.
I don't know if I do either.
Amazing. The 2000s. The aughts. 80s, 90s, aughts. I can't be the only person who knows this.
I mean, is it 2000s? Is that a term for... Okay, why aughts, though?
Aughts. I mean, that's just like what they say. Like 1907. It was 1907. the aughts.
Nope.
Okay, if you know about the aughts, send hate mail directly to Goff's address. Give out your address to the people.
All right, it's right here.
So then I was starting to do all that, and as I'm writing the names and I'm going through this, I'm like, I don't know, JTT. Like, where do I go with this? It just didn't end up well. JTT. I did not like it.
Took me a second. I was like, wait, JTT? Yeah.
I did not like where it was headed. I did not like what I was doing, and so I was like, I'm starting over. We're either not doing brackets or I have to come up with something else. And I got to that point where I was like, no. And then I was like, you know what? We like funny stuff. We want to write a sitcom. Me and you were going to write a sitcom or something. Some sort of writing. We're gonna write something down at some point.
Yeah.
And then movies.
This is actually nothing that we've written down here. It's just gibberish.
This is
scribbles to make it look like we have a guide for our episodes. Sorry.
We do not. We absolutely do not. Okay. As can be told by how we speak in front of a microphone.
Yeah. So
anyway, that's the gist of it. So then we got to the point where it was like, oh, let's just do some comedy things. I'll throw them in a bucket and we'll see what happens. Mm-hmm. And I did consider, maybe I'll just do stand-ups over here. Maybe I'll do just movie people over here.
So exactly what you said.
Essentially trying to categorize them. Okay. But then it was like, you can't really do it. You're already picking, if you're seeding, you're already picking the top guys. Yeah. So it's like, why do the rest of the bracket?
Yeah, and I kind of see it like that because I would do the brackets all the time for my Parks and Rec page on Instagram. And it's like, people would be like, oh, that's not fair. And it's like, well, I mean, if like Ron Swanson's in there, it doesn't matter who he's facing. He's going to win. So it's kind of and that sucks that person got put up against this person. It's like, well, that's how brackets go.
Yeah, and that's just like what it was. Like the seeding of it is, I guess it's also who is seeding it, right? So if I'm seeding it, I'm putting the people I think are higher on the list. Yeah. And at that point, I think it's better to do it randomly because it's just like, maybe Ed O'Neill had an easy way to his victory, and that's why he won. Yeah. But maybe we do it a completely different random way, and then Will Arnett wins, or like whoever. It doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. Now, some of the people complaining about who we picked, all right, I get it, but that's also personal choice. And like the John Candy one, like I don't know enough John Candy. Yeah. I like what I know of John Candy, but David Cross was Tobias Funke. Mm-hmm. That to me is like, you can't beat that.
Well, I'm a huge Mr. Show fan as well.
See, I'm not even the biggest Mr. Show fan, but to me, like that, Tobias Funke was so funny. And John Candy, I've seen him in like Home Alone. Yeah. So like to me,
Uncle Buck.
Yeah. Barely. I don't even know if I've seen Uncle Buck. Is that with Macaulay Culkin?
Yeah, that was before Home Alone, actually.
Yeah, but Megan always tells me to watch it.
It's really good.
I never really do. Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. And
I'm not as familiar. That's one of the ones when people are always like, yeah, you've seen it, right? I'm like, yep. And I have, but probably 40 years ago.
But the point is, it's all subjective, obviously. Yeah. So if we don't know, we don't know. I'm just glad that people were so angry about it that they had to write stuff.
So glad.
Thank you, guys. I really do appreciate whenever you guys write stuff. So.
The comments are great. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so that's about it. I just wanted to touch on those things this week. You got anything for the people?
I just wanted to shout out our new listener, our buddy Dogan.
Yeah.
Well, I wanted to shout him out, too, because he's one of the veterans for the Billy Joe Travis Memorial Crockett Cup Tag Team Golf Invitational Classic.
I mean, you were close.
Damn it. Championship every year.
Also, Dogan wasn't there last year, but
he's a former tag team champ, so
I'm having a child and whatever.
Yeah, that is kind of BS.
People with their kids.
But
shout out to Dogan.
Yeah, glad to have you on board, bud.
And Bear. I don't know. Do you know the Bear?
The show?
No. The guy. He's Dogan's buddy. Mm-mm. I mean, he's the whole crew.
Maybe if I saw him.
Dogan and Swick and all of them.
Okay.
Bear's the man. Shout out to the Bear. I still think all the time, we went to the Voodoo Glow Skulls show and he just tore it up in the pit. I don't even know that he knew who the Voodoo Glow Skulls were. He was just having a good time.
Tore it up in the pit, baby.
So yeah, welcome, and send us top 3 things. Dogan actually already sent us something for the top 3 list. He also sent me a book recommendation. Now I didn't.
Oh no.
I didn't write it down because it was it was in Spanish and it was about 9/11. And I don't, I was like, all right, great, but...
Well, that's a good way to learn about 2 things.
9/11. Once.
New one. Book 1? Book 11. 9/11.
9/11. Yeah, there you go.
Is it nueve? Once. Wait.
Once is 11.
Uno, dos, tres, cuatro, cinco, seis, ocho, nueve. Yeah, good call. All right.
Thank you. So Dogan sent that request in. He also, I'm not going to ruin what he said, the top 3, but I will say this. He sent me a picture of a Sears catalog from 20 years ago.
Sweet.
So, welcome, Dogan.
Okay, yeah.
Welcome, Dogan.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Good to have you. All right, well, that's all
That's it.
Nonsense. Should we do thumbs up, thumbs down?
Yeah, what are we putting inside ourselves? Thumbs up, thumbs down, whatever we call this.
Okay. All right. You know what? I'm going to start off. You always start.
That's no problem. I'm ready to listen.
Okay, good. I thought there was a stipulation there.
No.
All right. First of all, Little Book of Sitcoms. It's a book you let me borrow a couple weeks ago.
I've heard of this.
Yeah. I still haven't gotten to that yet, so that's on the list.
Okay, excellent.
All right. No, what I wanted to talk about, Severance, Season 2. So it's weird for me to be now catching up on something you've already seen. And first of all, I mean, like I can never talk to how happy I am. Just the amount of things I've gotten you to watch since we've started this podcast. But anyway.
Mostly porn.
Yeah. But, all right, so Severance Season 2, the last thing I heard, and I'm going to try not to.
No spoilers?
Let's try not to, yes.
Yeah, no spoilers. Let's not talk. Now let's try. Let's not give spoilers.
All right, well, I'll try.
I'm not going to edit this if he gives spoilers. So.
Okay, I will do my very best not to give spoilers. Yeah. All right, so you watched it. What were your overall thoughts?
On the season or the finale?
The season, the whole season. All right, you know what?
Yeah.
I should say I'm only to season or episode 6
of season 2. Okay.
Yes. So you don't have to try to think in your head like what happened after that and trying to just overall what do you think of the season? And then I'll talk a little bit about stuff I have, and you can relate to that because then you'll know you've seen, so you won't spoil.
Did you also just rewatch season 1, or you're going?
I watched a recap video.
Okay.
Just to, yeah.
So Severance season 1 to me was awesome. I loved it. I loved the way it ended, and it got me hooked, ready to watch season 2. And I watched it literally like all of it right before season 2 started. So I got to watch all of it. Pretty. Whatever word I'm looking for.
You got to binge it.
Yeah, season 1.
Yeah.
So season 2 started, and I watched it a week at a time, which is a thing. I like it.
Okay.
Brings you back to the old school.
See, this is the exact opposite for me. I got to binge season 1. Or, I'm sorry, no. Season 1 I actually watched weekly. Season 2 I'm binging now.
And you hated watching weekly.
Season 1 for me was very hard to get to. So yeah, actually it took longer than weekly because I stopped watching it for like months. And then my cousin texted me and he's like, you gotta finish it.
Yeah.
And I did finish it. And like you said, that finale was incredible.
It was awesome. It's a great TV show season finale that got you hooked and wanting to watch season 2. Season 2, start watching. And we're watching every week. Every Friday, we're watching the new episode. I was not the biggest fan for most of the season until the finale.
All right.
I loved the finale of season 2 because it shocked me. It surprised me.
Okay.
And I didn't see it coming. And it was very, very good. And the finale, by the way, is like an hour 20.
Oh,
it's like its own little almost mini movie,
Mm-hmm.
whatever you want to call it. But it felt like season 2 dragged so long, and I don't think it was because I was watching one episode at a time.
Okay.
I feel like the episodes themselves, they left The Office, so you didn't have like the cool art of like the season 1 where they're mostly inside this weird, creepy office. And now you're finding out backstories and all these different things. Now, it is a weird show to get into because the whole time you're asking questions and you're trying to poke holes into like how they live and whatever. But then hopefully by the season finale, all that stuff comes together in one and you are like relieved.
Okay.
Hand relief.
Satisfied.
Yes. And so I did not like most of the season. I was okay with it. It was just like whatever. The finale brought me right back in. I was very happy with the finale, and I am ready for season 3.
Okay, so you did see it got signed, or are you just assuming? But it did.
I did not see it, but they were basically talking about how that it's gonna go on.
Yeah.
Like this was not going to be the end. I just didn't know if they mentioned a specific date or if they had already filmed things or anything like that. So they did say we're back for season 3. Okay.
All right. So first of all, I did see the video you talked about. I don't know, whenever you started, 10 weeks ago, I guess, probably, when you started talking about Severance, the video of them in the subway in New York, just inside the glass case. So cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then all the weird shit that they were doing in there, like almost like synchronized, like, because they were doing weird lumen stuff.
Yeah, so it was a PR stunt where they basically put up these clear see-through walls inside of a New York train station. And just every once in a while, a member of the cast would walk in, Adam Scott, and they would start doing stuff that was related to the show.
Yeah, like what Sasha was just talking about. If you haven't seen the show, they have a really cool set design for the office. Yeah. And their office itself is like a cross, basically.
Yeah, 4 cubicles.
Yeah, and it's oddly it's almost swastika shaped when you have the way that how they all sit on the same side in their computer kind of face. So looking from the top, it could almost.
All right, Kanye. Oh, and that reminds me. Side note: I was trying to set up our merch. And I got a cease and desist from Kanye. So I
told you not to do that.
I know. I'm sorry. Continue.
Okay. Threw me off a little bit.
So they're in the. You saw the video of them in the train station.
That's right. Okay, so actually, I just wanted to say that first, but I wanted to talk about just a couple of things here and just get your opinions on them. Again, I'm not spoiling anything. A lot of this stuff is in the trailers or characters you'll meet right away. Starting off with Miss Wong, who is like a teenager, a very young teenager. I'm thinking 15, 16 maybe. Maybe
looks younger.
Yes. What a weird concept, and just how demeaning for the cast to just be constantly I love how it's, why are you a kid? How what's his name keeps asking Dylan. And she's like, because of when I was born. You know? But it's so funny because it's that was Mr. Milchick last season. Him, by the way, I am loving just his descent into madness, because he's I don't know what to fucking do with these people. You know, it's
Mr. Milchick.
Oh, it's so he's just losing his mind. Yeah. And see, now the episode you talked about them getting outside of the office. There was an outdoor retreat episode, which I thought was really cool because it had a lot of horror elements.
And it was the visuals were really cool too.
And one of the things that I think it's still I can't fathom it is how the innies know nothing besides that office, besides things that that's a tree, because they've seen pictures of it. But when they're outside, it's just the what the hell?
Yeah,
it's such an interesting concept, and I mean oh my god, again, I don't want to spoil a big thing Dylan, his reward is just that whole how that the other, I'm going to say the other person just you don't know me,
I see why you were thinking this was going to be tough for you not to spoil things, because there's just a sentence that you want to say.
But so I think it's actually helping for me that I'm ripping through these, that I don't have to wait, because that was part of, because I'm a very impatient person, so I think a lot of season 1 and maybe season 2, we know all the stuff from season 1, so it's I feel more, I think I know a lot more now. So maybe in season 1, a lot of it was the confusion. And I mean, even in this season, there is still shit where you're that is just so bizarre. I don't even know if I like it. And it seems they're just, the episode with the goat people.
Yeah, but that's a great episode.
I mean, it was scary.
Yeah.
But you're do they just do this shit just to weird it up more? Make it Lost? I mean, just so you're what the hell is this now?
Yeah, and
I love it.
Now I'm at the point where I want to say a sentence and I'm not going to. I'll say this, because I was going a week at a time. They have a podcast with Ben Stiller and Adam Scott.
Nice.
And after every Friday it would come out. So you could, the things that you don't understand about the show, you kind of understand them more if you listen to the podcast as well, because you're they explain kind of thing, and then you go, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I was telling Megan by episode 7 or 8 of the season, I was I want to understand the show. I don't want to have to listen to a podcast to understand the show. I wish it was more clear. I think that's my biggest problem is it doesn't feel clear, but also it's not supposed to be clear. And so there's like, where's that line? I don't know where that line is, so I just feel lost, so then I don't want to watch the thing.
Yep.
But then season finale, like I said, brings things together, and you're kind of like, all right, and presents a new, interesting challenge, or however you want to call it. So.
Yeah, because that's basically how season 1 ended to get into season 2. Just such an interesting thing is like, even when you're watching it, you're confused sometimes which one is that.
Yeah.
Because they do something with one of the characters where it's kind of like they're like faking out,
Yeah.
And then after that, it's just like, wait, so now at any time this could be, it's so like, interesting. And then just the fact that it's like how you're seeing more how people, their views on innies, it's just like some people are like, they're nothing, they're not, but it's like, you can't kill that person because then their outie will die too. It's still the same body, it's just two completely different minds.
I would like to know,
so
big picture, weird, if there's like a main meaning of it all. Like I'm sure there is something that's like, gas prices are too high, and that's what the whole show is about. Like I'd like to know what that really is. So if we can get Ben Stiller on the pod, you know his number?
I'll set it up.
Okay.
And then the last thing I wanted to say about that was just the character of Miss Selvig, Patricia Arquette. I can't stand this character, and I know she's gonna have something to do, but like for up to season 6, I've been very happy with the lack of her.
Okay.
And she's been like here and there, but she was fired at the end. There's a spoiler, I guess that's the end of season 1 though. But and I know she's not done, and I know she's gonna have a huge impact, but I'm just gonna say I've been liking it probably more just because she hasn't been in there. I think she's a ridiculous, over-the-top character, and her temper tantrums drive me nuts and just seems so like, I don't know. That's all I got from my
I love
and
it.
A big thumbs up. Big thumbs up.
And Megan does a great impression of her, where she just goes, Mark. Yeah, so she just does that, and she's way better at it.
I've never liked her.
Okay, so
just that character. I'm not Patricia Arquette. She's fine.
So that's your. What else? What else you got going?
That's all I got.
Okay.
I wanted to talk a lot about Severance because I'm even my cousin Tim, who the one I talked about, who told me to get back into season 1. He texted me about a week ago, and he's like, dude, I need someone to talk to about this.
He just has no one to talk to about Severance, so he's like, please, will you watch it?
So I'm trying to rip through them, and again, I've found this season so far way more enjoyable and easier to get through.
Yeah, love it so far. Even though I didn't like the season, I overall am like good with season 2.
Okay.
The only other thing, because I wanted to talk Severance as well, but the only other thing I wanted to talk about was I was listening to...
Are you getting severed? Like you're actually getting the...
No.
Like I wanted to know your thoughts on me getting the chip.
No, man.
Okay.
No.
Damn.
I was listening to Billy Corgan's podcast. Have I talked about his podcast?
I know he has one.
So he has one. It's called Magnificent Others. He's had Gene Simmons on. He's had... I don't know. I forget who else was on it, but it doesn't really matter because I'm going to bring up who he had on this week.
All right.
If I remember the guy's name. Corey Feldman, is it?
Oh, that guy.
So he had Corey Feldman on his podcast. And this is it's an interesting take here. Like, Billy Corgan is a fan of Corey Feldman. He says they've met a couple times. Corey Feldman's like, yeah, I met you once. And Billy Corgan's like, we've met 10 times.
Uh-oh.
And Corey Feldman, interesting character, interesting guy. I don't know a lot about Corey Feldman. I don't know the movies that he was... I know he was a massive, massive star, child star. I know he went through a lot of traumatic stuff in Hollywood and then kind of like blacklisted and all this stuff. And then now I know him because of music. And musically, I mean, I'll say I'm not a fan of what I've heard of Corey Feldman.
That's nice of you.
Well, look, anybody who's trying stuff, I'm at the age where I'm like, get it. Go after it. Do what you want to do.
I don't know, though, if that's... Like, sometimes you're saying to yourself, this guy, maybe he does. Maybe
so you're familiar here.
Absolutely. I love these videos, don't get me wrong.
He played with, he played at Riot Fest last year in Chicago.
Did he really?
Yeah.
Oh.
But when I hear him talk about playing Riot Fest, and the next sentence he says is like, 20,000 people came out to watch me. I'm like...
20,000 people at Riot Fest is all you're hearing, right?
I'm not... Really? And so listen to the music, whatever it is. Some of it sounds like Michael Jackson.
Yeah,
like straight
that's
up.
kind of the point. He dresses like him too.
He dresses like him. He was talking about how Michael Jackson told him he had a #1 hit, and he wanted to help him bring it to radio, and he's like, no, I can't do that because then people will say that.
Oh, that's why he never had a #1 hit.
Yeah, and so like to me, that's what I don't like about this Corey Feldman stuff is like, I thought it was an act. And then he, on this podcast, brought up the fact that he's like, some people thought this was an act.
Okay, all right.
And it's not an act. And then
deep down inside, it's like I know it's not, because I know he's been doing this for a long time. This isn't like a new thing for him.
He's been writing music for like 40 years or whatever.
But I think at this point, you're like, dude, he can't be upset when people don't like this. He can't be.
He feels like he's blaming Hollywood for blacklisting him. Okay. He's blaming Howard Stern because he brought him on the show to do a CD release, and then he brought out like midgets to throw tomatoes at. Right. So it seems like a lot of that where he's just like blaming other people. Yeah. Being someone who has constantly put out bad things, right?
I don't think so.
I at least feel self-aware to the point where I'm like, I don't know, maybe I'm way too far in the opposite direction where I'm like, nothing I've done has any sort of merit or good part of it whatsoever. But, like, I can't get into the mindset that he is in where he's like, I know I'm good and this is great and, you know, like, I just need people to... And Billy Corgan even brought it up at one point. I guess Fred Durst is helping him produce
I think
music
they toured together, something like that.
And look, Corey Feldman, maybe nice guy. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not going after Corey Feldman. I'm just saying it's such a weird thing to hear someone talk about that.
I'll say I didn't listen to that podcast, but I've seen shorts and reels and stuff with him on other podcasts talking about his music, and it is like you don't want to be like an asshole, but it's like listening to him talk about the music you're hearing, and it's like, what the hell? Like the way he holds it, so like
there's a disconnect,
and it's just people they flow with my music. It's like like one of the funniest things about watching his videos is watching the rest of the people on stage with him and how like unenthused they are.
Really?
You know, it's like, man, I feel there's like the bass player with the cowboy hat that's in like every video. You know, and, whew.
Yeah, and. So
this is great, though.
Well, look,
so happy you brought up Corey Feldman.
Well, and Billy Corgan at one point brought up, he goes, "So this isn't an act," basically saying like, "Hey, in the corner of my mind, I also thought maybe you were doing something," and he was like it wasn't that direct.
Yeah,
he wasn't going after him for it, but like Feldman brought it up first, and then Corgan was like, so you can say on here, on this podcast, that this is not an act that you're doing. And he's like, no, it's not an act. Like, I go out there, I put my heart on the line. Like that. Okay, I believe it. Like, I think
that's a really good question, though, you know? And it's just like, because he has to know. It's like, yeah, some people, obviously a lot of people think that.
I would think a lot of people. And he even brought up the fact that there was a guy who was online who was like, this is great. And then a couple of years later was like, I figured it out. It's an act. Like,
God.
And so he was talking about that. And I mean, I feel bad for Corey Feldman if he is like so thinking that this is the greatest.
Delusional.
I guess. Yeah. I don't even want to call him
misguided.
Because he doesn't seem like he's lost. You know what I mean? When he talks, he's there. He's whatever. He's a person. He's human.
Yeah.
He talks about anything you ask him to.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. He's not like a loose cannon or anything.
Yeah.
He's not just
and
like,
he's not like looking off into the
Sheen
distance.
Was like in his weird ass, you know, like that's a good point. That's a really good point.
And so like it makes it even harder to speak on it because you're like, I see there's the passion with this man, but like a lot of the stuff he says, I'm like, how do you not see not necessarily the truth, but just like that it could be something else. Yeah. That maybe it's not a producer from 1985 who like told Hollywood to leave. I don't know. But then again, I don't know. Maybe it is. So
I don't know, man. I love the topic. Thanks for bringing that up.
It's an interesting podcast to listen to as well. The Magnificent Others. Billy Corgan talks to like someone he respects every week, and so like. He likes Corey Feldman, so he brought him on and he wanted to talk about all this stuff. And it was
I legitimately was like, I'm not going to say, I guess I am, so because The Lost Boys is one of my favorite movies of all time. He's in that. And a lot of those movies with Corey Haim, you know, they were licensed to drive. They were fun. They were great movies, and I was pretty familiar with a lot of them. So
okay. Big Feldhead over there.
Feldhead, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All right, well then I think we should move on to our top and bottom three. As we talked about earlier, we're talking about top three and bottom three rednecks. Not to be confused with hillbilly, but we will lump them all together in one together. Cause
white trash.
we're idiots, and that's what we do. You want to go start with top three or bottom three?
I always like to start bottom.
Bottom three? You want to go first or you want me?
I will go first. Okay. Number 3. The Namesake, the Rednecks, the band. They sing Cotton Eye Joe.
Oh!
This is one of the worst fucking songs ever created, but I think it's also...
Hard disagree.
I was going to say it's a divisive song. All right, just picture this. All right, let's set up a scenario.
This is the Corey Feldman thing all over again. Someone finds the beauty in it, and someone does not find the beauty in it.
All right, but like we're having I'm telling you some good news.
Look how big these lines got for Cotton Eye Joe.
I'm telling you some good news. I'm telling you about how my workday was, whatever. And it's like, this is fantastic. And Cotton Eye Joe is playing in the background. Are you taking anything I'm saying seriously? I think whenever that song is on, all people are thinking about is, God, I hate this fucking song.
I mean, that's kind of funny.
You know?
I don't know. It reminds me of like middle school dance or roller skating rink.
You know what? It's a great song to just like, because everyone knows it. Like, even my kids know that song. And that song came out, Jesus, when we were probably in grade school, maybe early middle school. Yeah. And that talk about one-hit wonders, good Lord.
Do you like ever sit and wonder, like, that to me seems like a song that was just made to like, hey, let's try and write a catchy whatever.
I'm sure they still probably get royalties.
What if it's like about like the drought in South Africa or something like crazy like
when
that?
When you find the real meaning of the song.
I love like, you know, like VH1's Behind the Music, when you would find out a little nugget like that, and you're like, you never listen to Cotton Eye Joe the same again.
So yeah, that's my number 3.
Nice. My number 3, we're going racist, we're going southern, we're going booter and oil. Paula Deen.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I'm going Paula Deen as my number 3. Even before the weird stuff about her having a plantation party or whatever it was that she was going to have. I just thought she was like a loud, annoying lady. I used to watch cooking shows more, I think, when I was younger.
We did too.
And so she would be on, you know, she had her own shows and stuff like that. And I couldn't get into them. It was very annoying. Her accent was too much for me. And
did you ever see the video where she got hit in the face with the turkey?
I did.
Holy shit, man. She's like, I didn't know it was being thrown. Like a full-size fucking frozen turkey.
Oh my God, you're so good at that impression.
I didn't know it was being thrown. And yeah, literally. So it's like a bowling ball hitting you in the face from like 6 feet away.
Oh, man.
Google it, my friend.
Well worth watching that one.
Hell yeah.
Who's your number 2?
All right, for my number 2,
bottom least favorite. Right?
Yeah, this is like a little obscure, but it's like, for its time, we got to go back to 2020. Okay. So what was the worst thing about 2020? Was it COVID or was it the Tiger King? Because that's my number 2.
Joe Exotic.
Joe Exotic. I forgot his name actually, but I didn't want to Google it. So
yeah, not to be confused. He is not Serbian. It is not Exotic. It is.
So there's a
Joe Exotic.
Tiger King.
He is from Oklahoma.
Yeah,
and I think he definitely falls in the category. He's actually a potent notable for mine.
Okay. Oh, awesome. All right, cool. So did you watch the show?
I did. I did. Yeah.
One of the most compelling things I've ever seen, man. It was, you know what though? Again, COVID helped because we didn't have fuck else to do.
That was like the first 3 months of COVID, I want to say.
There is a really fun, in the show Superstore, they did a COVID episode, and there's a funny part in there where one of the guys brings up Tiger King, and they're all that was like early COVID. Like we're over that. But anyway, I mean, besides the fact that it's like this guy just sucked, I mean, like, his music was terrible. Speaking of someone who wasn't in on the joke, you know? But a predator. I mean, he was always like his boyfriends were all like half his age, you know, and like the one guy fucking shot himself, and they had the footage of it and they showed it on the show. The one guy he accidentally committed suicide on the show, and they showed the footage.
That's my problem with Joe Exotic. Okay, is that it seems like he's a bad person.
Oh God!
Right? Like he treated people poorly.
Yeah.
He did all these things. I don't know what he was.
Possibly tried to have Carol Baskin killed.
Yeah, allegedly.
Carol Baskin.
We don't know any of that stuff. I know that he's still to this day in prison and asking Trump to try and get him out for the second time because he tried to do it like before as well.
Even Trump's like, he's like, fuck this guy.
So, yeah, who knows?
That was a bad Trump. That sounded more like Biden.
Oh, that was your Trump? Good night. Give me more Paula Deen.
Fuck this guy.
Yeah, Paula Deen.
More Paula Deen?
Yeah.
Oh, fuck this guy.
All right.
We'll do them all.
Neither one.
All right.
But yeah, so like, you know, I talk a lot about O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby and how they are great. That's because they have positive attributes to them as well.
Yeah.
O.J. Simpson, Stiff Arm, Heisman, Naked Gun movies. Yeah. Bill Cosby, one of the best sitcoms ever. You know, great stand-up comedian.
Jello.
Joe Exotic.
Nothing.
Nothing comes to mind. Maybe Saving the Tigers or something?
No, but he like euthanized a bunch of them too.
It didn't seem like they were in a good
the show was
place.
very entertaining, but it's like after every episode you're still like, this guy sucks, and like
I try to give people the benefit of the doubt, but I can't do it in this
Did you
part.
see there was remember during COVID, it was really popular when there was all those Zoom like reunions and stuff. People were doing like everything to raise money. They did a reunion for Tiger King and Joel McHale was the host. Wow. Yeah, it was very like, because Joel McHale is great. Like I think he's hilarious. But yeah, that's my number 2. How about you?
I'm gonna give you the Joe Exotic of rock music, Kid Rock. Now
Okay.
this was a tough one for me because I've seen Kid Rock live.
Can I stop you right there? I'm just gonna say that's my number 1, so I'll jump in with this.
Okay, all right. So I've seen him live. I know he brings happiness to people who drink bad beer or whatever. I'm not a Kid Rock fan. Help me here.
I saw Kid Rock once.
I was definitely not going to put him in my top 3 list, but there was a chance that I was going to omit him from this because he played decent. I sang Ball with the Ball at some point in life.
Those were catchy songs, you know? I mean, like, I'm not going to lie about that. And but I think it's almost like the Hulk Hogan thing where you're just like,
that's a good
you know what? Because now it's like a lot of the personal stuff is just clouding.
You're like, I know too much about Kid Rock.
Yeah. But he's my number 1 just because I think, speaking of, he's a good one for this category. Yeah. Or is he? I mean, like, is he more white trash?
Yeah, good call. Isn't he from Michigan?
He's the all-American badass, so.
You know, when Joe C was around, Joe C was able to, like, keep him under wraps, I believe. Once Joe C was gone, then we saw the bad Kid Rock come out. Yeah. And,
there was one hilarious joke, though. I'll say this quickly in the show Silicon Valley or Silicon, I think. Yeah. It's in the very first episode of the show. It starts off, they're at like this big tech party, and Kid Rock is performing. And it starts off and the camera's real close. It's like, my name is Kid, you know? And it pans out and there's like 7 people watching him because it's all like tech nerds and stuff. So it's just hysterical because you think it's this giant show. And they've obviously been paid and everything. But yeah, it's like they play the song and he's like, man, this fucking sucks. And they like walk off stage.
What's hard about the situation is like, if your political beliefs are a little bit different, not different, but let's say align with Kid Rock, he's probably one of the people you're like really excited to meet.
Oh yeah,
right? Because he's kind of like an exceptional right-wing person.
Yeah.
At this point, I think he also gave money to like Barack Obama or something, but like back in the day or whatever. But none of that matters. But just I don't know. It depends. It's like whatever. He's number 2 on my list.
Okay,
he's number 1 on yours.
Mine, yeah.
And then my number 1 is someone. Look, I like. The musical aspect of Kid Rock, I do think he's talented as well. And this next person I also think is talented, but it's not for me. Larry the Cable Guy. I
kept them all off of my list. I just didn't. You know what? Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I mean, I've never really enjoyed his jokes. I've never enjoyed the character. I've never enjoyed movies. I've never watched any of his movies because they don't seem interesting to me.
That's the same thing. I've never watched one and it's left a bad taste on my mouth. I'm just not interested.
I've seen him on the Rednecks or Blue Collar Comedy Tour, whatever it was called, but he was my least favorite out
Those
of
guys
them.
are all rich as fuck, too.
Yeah.
Blue collar my ass.
Yeah, absolutely. They did the Kings of Comedy for Southern people. It was a brilliant thing.
No, good for them.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I don't have
Definitely.
any hatred towards Larry the Cable Guy. It's just these are like trying
Someone's
to find
gotta fall into
a
that
positive,
spot.
you know, yeah.
If half the episodes we forget to do about them, so when
That's
we remember,
true.
we'll do.
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So, do you have any potent notables?
Joe Exotic, and then the other one was also, it was Jeff Foxworthy, which is weird because I have more respect for Jeff Foxworthy than I do Larry the Cable Guy. I've watched him do some like comedy writing seminars and stuff like that, and he's a really like hardworking, just like really good comedian. Nice. But it's never been my thing. It wasn't enough to put him on my top 3 list. It's just I can't get into it. It's like country music.
Yeah.
Like the new country music, I'm not gonna like it ever. It's always gonna be at the bottom 3 or potent notable bottom 3.
For Jeff Foxworthy specifically, I didn't do this, but I would have put him as a potent notable for tops just because of like him basically popularizing rednecks. You know, you might be a redneck if like that was his whole thing.
I don't know if I like
not
that.
Popular. Yeah. You might. So yeah, he's actually on the bottom because you should blame him for that.
At best, for me, he's in the middle, and I think that's more the case. I think he's more in the middle than he is at the bottom.
Awesome.
So let's do top 3 then.
Okay.
I'm gonna start top 3 because I'm gonna continue the train here. I'm going Ron White. Blue Collar Comedy Tour.
He's like the older dude with the long hair, right?
Yes.
Now?
Yeah.
At least. Okay. All right. Who wears suits?
Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Gray hair.
Okay. Really, kind of.
Yes, and even my mom at one point told me she likes Ron White, and I was like, that's something I'm not prepared to... Like, my mom is like a small Christian woman who like doesn't... And she likes Ron White, who's like a dirty comedian. And she was like, maybe I don't know who Ron White is. Maybe I'm confusing him with somebody. I don't know. Ron White's my favorite out of that group, the Blue Collar group. And he's hilarious, and his comedy is great. And I needed some rednecks, and so
there's no doubt with him, he's got the tag, so you can be like, I got at least one.
And like, I mean, it's hard. This list was very difficult for me to do, and so once I thought of Ron White, I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna be on my list. Yeah. Let's put him at number 3.
This is one we talked about at the top of the show, but I mean, it's still like I don't want to offend anyone who's probably listening to the show.
Yeah, we get a lot of listeners. So.
All right, so no, I don't care about our friends. I mean, if my number 3 is listening, who's Fred Ward? Are you familiar?
Fred Ward.
All right, he's in Tremors, which I know you haven't seen. Joe Dirt, he plays Joe Dirt's dad. Sweet Home Alabama. Road Trip. You've seen Road Trip. He's the skinny guy's dad, the one that's all crazy at the end with the gun. He's got one of my favorite lines in the movie. Bullshit, Junior. DJ Qualls, yeah. Anyway, Fred Ward is he's like another guy that's like I don't even know where he's from, but he's seemingly always playing characters like this.
Okay.
Joni said he's in the movie Big Business, which is one of her favorites. I didn't know he was in that, but she said he's awesome. But yeah, rest in peace to him. He did pass away, I think a couple years ago. My sister and I covered Tremors on our podcast years back. And he's awesome. So look up Fred Ward, you'll know who it is.
All right, yeah, to put in your top 3, I'm going to check it out.
Okay.
My number 2, I'm going Cletus the Slack-Jawed Yokel. Don't know if he's a redneck, don't know if he's a hillbilly, don't know if he's a slack-jawed yokel. I don't know where it falls under. Mama. But that's like the stereotype that I would put it all under.
Oh, absolutely.
And I don't think he's ever said anything that I've disagreed with.
No.
I've never heard him
Look at
be
that
like,
pointy-haired little girl.
we should get rid of Medicare. Like, he's never like a political figure.
Yeah.
He's just hilarious at all times, and I think that's
a great character.
Yeah.
I totally forgot about it. No joke. I mean, it took me about 10 seconds as you were talking to like put. It's like, okay, the Simpsons guy. Yeah.
Well, shout out to Megan for that one because she was immediately like. Yeah, Cletus the
Joni gave me Tiger King.
Okay.
Like, when she said that, I was like, that's perfect. I love that one. My number 2 is a character as well, actually, and it's Ernest P. Worrell.
Oh, my number 1.
Yeah, so... Yeah, I mean, just pretty much a guy who kind of plays a redneck, even if it's a Christmas movie, it's a basketball movie. I mean, he plays Ernest.
Yeah, and the character was, like, created I believe in Nashville or
Okay.
in Tennessee or whatever. He was like a car commercial character.
Okay.
And then it became so big that he did the movies and all that kind of stuff. Ernest is a legend here. I'm gonna put his picture up.
We need to.
We
We
need
need
an
to
Ernest
start
picture.
putting like our
people,
other
yeah,
guys.
yeah.
One of the guys I'm going to talk about next week. I got
Okay.
something, but he should be up on our wall too. But anyway, yeah, Ernest. I mean,
I love Ernest.
you have an Ernest T-shirt.
I do, and I watch videos of like him doing like just like random stuff, classical. Like he was a classically trained like theater person.
That's awesome.
That's insane.
He reminds me of like the Crocodile Hunter for some reason. Maybe it's just because of like the outfit.
Oh, okay.
I mean, Ernest was more like he looked like a carpenter more so with like
yeah.
a jean jacket or like a
Movies
village
are
person.
great. I go through these spurts where like I won't watch anything of his for like a year, and then I'll watch like 4 Ernest movies.
Ernest Goes to Camp
Top
is
notch.
like is so much like I mean I'm an Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yeah.
And then after that it's just like yeah I mean like I love those two. The other ones it's like yeah.
I like learning about it too. Is like there was a handful of his movies that were like supported by major whatever studios.
Okay.
And then it went to like the home video
Yeah.
ones, and so you can see like the quality difference. And I like the quality, like seeing the quality difference,
Mhm.
not just in like this tree looks fake, but
Looks
just
more
in
like
like
a TV show.
like how they created this whole thing. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. I love all that stuff. Ernest is my number 1. You're number 2, which means who is your number 1?
Danny McBride.
Oh, solid.
Yeah.
Solid.
Again, sorry man, I don't know where you're from, but
I was gonna say is legitimate redneck or just
I'm guessing on the accent he's got to be Southern at least. So
Okay.
again, he's got to be south of 88. So
All right.
that's the rule.
Okay.
But Kenny Powers, did you watch Eastbound and Down?
I did. I don't know if I ever finished it, but I definitely watched
Okay.
many seasons of it.
Very crass character, very similar to the character he's played in many things. Pineapple Express, This Is the End. I know you haven't seen Pineapple Express, right?
No, and anything else he was in, really, I haven't really seen too much of his stuff.
Okay, he's like a polite but also crass drug dealer in Pineapple. I know you don't like when my
It's
pitch
a stoner
to you.
movie or something?
Yeah, my
Yeah.
pitch to you was James Franco and Seth Rogen, and you're like, no thanks.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
All
it's
right.
one of my top 5 comedies. It's so if I mean it's streaming on somewhere. It might be Peacock.
I know, but that's time out of my life.
All right, all right.
I'm
so
writing it down.
I'll let you do your potent notables. Go ahead, bud.
Okay, my potent notable, like 90% of professional wrestlers. So like Stone Cold, or how about Hillbilly Jim, who had
Okay.
Hillbilly in the name.
Nice.
Most professional wrestlers who were like relevant back in the day were from south of the Mason-Dixon line. So like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, and I love pro wrestlers, and it's really, I'm not going to give you a list of 3 wrestlers, so that's why I, went through other stuff. I also have Dolly Parton. Love me
That's
some
a good
Dolly
one.
Parton.
That's a good one.
Miley Cyrus, who I've talked about on the show. I'm a fan of Miley Cyrus.
I remember when you mentioned her last time, I thought it was going in a different direction. I think it was for the SNL thing.
And you know what? Like, her and Dolly Parton have done stuff together too, like musically. It's two. I don't know. I'm a big fan of both of them.
Okay.
And Joe Dirt. You brought up Joe Dirt. I was
yeah.
just gonna say Joe Dirt, the character in
Yep.
general. David Spade. And then the last one that's kind of sneaky. Another one that Megan brought up. Chet from Boy Meets World. Which was Sean's dad, who like would disappear and come back. He's been in a lot of Adam Sandler movies. Hey, Sean.
Yeah.
Hey, Sean, how you doing, Sean?
Yep.
That guy.
Yep, I gotcha.
Love him. Love him in everything.
Was
he's
he
ever
like
done.
not a villain character, but was he because I remember he was the custodian in the one episode. Was he like a kind of supposed to be like a shit dad, or was he just not really? Okay.
Yeah, he wasn't around. He was
Okay.
going to try and find his wife who left him and ran away, and so he would leave Sean,
Okay.
and Sean had to fend for himself and all that kind of
Gotcha.
stuff.
Okay.
But anything he's played in any character, I think he's been in like Home Improvement. He's one of those guys who's been on like every TV show in the 90s, and
He's
and
speaking
the
of Joe
aughts.
Dirt, he's in that. He's the next door neighbor. He's like, Damo.
there you go.
Damo.
There you
The
go.
water boy's the cross-eyed guy.
Yeah, so I'm calling him Chet. Yeah.
That works. Yeah. Okay.
You?
All right, so this is funny. Like all right, you started talking about wrestlers, and you're like, I'm not gonna name 3 wrestlers. I'm gonna name 3, and you're gonna tell me who this is. Kurt Hennig,
Mr. Perfect.
Vincent / Virgil,
Okay.
Barry Windham. They were the
Oh,
The West Texas Rednecks.
Yeah.
And this always stood out to me just because Virgil was in the group.
Yeah.
He turned into Vincent, right, when he was WCW?
Yeah. The rumor was, let's see, how did that go? Virgil was the name of...
Well, that's what he was when he was with Ted DiBiase.
Yeah, but Virgil was Dusty Rhodes' real name. Hattori Hanzo is going to kill me on this one because I've lost so much.
Well, let him tell us then in the comments.
Yeah, but like Dusty Rhodes was potentially like, that's why Virgil was named Virgil. Allegedly, it was to be like, he's working for the man. I don't remember what it was. And then when he went to WCW, they named him Vince because of Vince McMahon.
Oh, I didn't even think that. I just thought it because it was close to Virgil.
Yeah, I don't know if any of that is true, but that was always like the rumors of it. There was also a rumor that like Vince McMahon made Dusty Rhodes wrestle in polka dots to like embarrass him.
Oh.
But then it went back like in the 70s. He also had polka dot stuff.
Okay.
So. Who knows? Wrestling is full of stories, and that's why it is a great thing. But West Texas Rednecks was fantastic. They had a song called "Rap Is Crap."
Didn't they? They were like they would play too, right? Didn't they like perform?
I don't think like legitimately. I think maybe sing.
Well, like Hulk Hogan playing, like
yeah. But the song was "Rap Is Crap."
Okay,
it's what you should look this
Rap
up.
Is Crap.
I'm gonna play it at the end if you're only listening to this podcast.
Okay.
It's not gonna be on the YouTube, but it'll be on the audio version. "Rap Is Crap" is fantastic.
Hell yeah! All right, and then I have Cousin Eddie from the Vacation movies.
Okay, there you go.
Randy Quaid. Specifically Vegas Vacation, where you actually see how they live. Have you seen that one? Like, they have like a snake pit to like entertain the kids. They cook their meat on like a rock. So that was great. And then this one, two very handsome actors, don't want to offend them, but I'm going with the combo of Matthew McConaughey and Woody Harrelson, the True Detective guys.
I also like,
who are both Texans, so
they were both in my list, and I just didn't bring them up. They were not whatever. But I actually had Matthew McConaughey over Woody Harrelson, and then I was like, but they're both kind of like the same guy.
I think Woody Harrelson is probably top 5 for me, actually. Wow. I like Woody Harrelson a lot.
Actor?
Yeah.
Or top 5 Woody?
Handsome. Or Woody, yeah.
All right. Well, that was it. That was our top 3 and bottom 3 Rednecks. So, how did you bring up the West Texas Rednecks? You remembered it? Or
I remembered, yeah.
Wow.
I actually thought the band who sang Cotton Eye Joe was called the West Texas Rednecks. So when I Googled it and the wrestlers came up, it was like, oh, them too.
That's funny.
Yeah. Woo.
All right.
Let's see. Next week, we might be doing... Is this a new picture of Namor the Handsome?
No.
Namor.
Ever the handsomest.
I'm trying to think if we did something similar to this. Yeah, I think we did, so I'm going to pass on that one. Or maybe put it back in the bucket. There's a
bunch of new top 3s were added this week. If you want, send yours in. Put them on our YouTube or send them to Sasha and Goff at gmail.com. And
sorry,
never forget that
Keep
Goff
more.
Has full veto power.
Oh, I like this one. We're going to do top and bottom. Hold on, bring the bucket back down. I have 5 here I got to put back in. All right, we're going to do our top and bottom 3 music videos.
Oh, okay.
Didn't need to put that one back in there. Oh, well.
All right. We'll get it eventually.
Okay. Well, if we might have music videos round 2.
Top 3 and bottom 3 music videos. And cool. We'll see you guys next week, I guess.
Later.